From the beginning, prophets have called almost all men to repentance. Those who have not known about the gospel have been exhorted to abandon their sinful ways and keep the commandments and join with the people of the Lord. But prophets have also pled with another group, those who were once believers, but later, because of pride or sin or something else, abandoned the faith. In this group are the less active, the critics, the uncommitted, the rebellious. These are church members who have grown away from God as they have grown older. To these, the invitation has always been to come back to the Lord. Is there a way back? If so, is it worth the effort to find and follow it? Where and when does one begin? There is a way. When I was first called to be a bishop, I inherited a large ward. Many of the 800 or so members did not come out to church. One Sunday afternoon in November, I went to visit an inactive family. As I came up to the house, a woman was sweeping the porch. I introduced myself as the new bishop and asked if her husband was home. Yes, she said, but he won't talk to you. We're tired of being bothered. My husband asked the other bishop to take our names off the records of the church. We don't want home teachers. We don't want people collecting fast offerings. We just want to be left alone. She changed her grip on the broom. Now get out, she said. Get off my porch, get out of my yard, and don't come back. The broom was coming at me as I backed down the steps, and I stammered a few words of apology, which were ignored. Get, she said, and I did. I didn't sleep well that night. I'd been humiliated. Worse still, it seemed, my office had been treated with disrespect. By Tuesday night, I had almost decided that that woman and her husband should be excommunicated. A wise counselor and a careful reading of the instructions from church headquarters persuaded me otherwise. I said hello to them on the street after that, occasionally, but I never returned to the home. However, we did assign a relative to visit there each month to watch over them. And as far as I know, no gospel message was given and no other significant church contact was had with that family during the years I served as bishop. After a time, the word was divided. I was released and was called to be stake president. On another Tuesday night, some years later, one of our bishops came to the stake office and asked if I would be available later in the evening to interview an older couple for a temple recommend. He'd been working with them for months, and they were finally ready to go to the temple. He said, "You may know them, President," and he mentioned the name of the woman with the broom. I could hardly wait for that interview. About 9 o'clock, the bishop brought a well-dressed elderly couple to my office and introduced them. I recognized them as the same people I had known before, but they were different somehow. I invited the good sister to come into the office first. I asked her if she knew who I was, and she said, "Oh yes, you're the stake president. Do you remember a Sunday afternoon in November 13 years ago?" I asked. "A young bishop came to your door and wanted to know if you and your husband would like to become more active in the church. Do you remember turning him away?" "I don't remember anything like that," she said. "I'm sure I would never have done such a thing." Then I said, "I have another question. Why have you waited so long to come back to church?" "Well, we always knew we would have to be active again someday," she replied. "We wanted to. We just never got around to it. My husband used to smoke a lot. He didn't feel comfortable going to church. I prayed for years that he would quit. When he started having health problems a couple of years ago, it just seemed like a good time to go back." I finished the interview. I talked with her husband as well. They were completely worthy. Shortly afterward, they went to the temple to be sealed. Now, did you notice the elements of their return? It wasn't easy. They had always known. She had prayed for years. There was a lot of wasted time. Finally, before it was too late, they talked to the bishop. Repentance took place. Old attitudes and habits were forgotten, and they came back.